Hare Krishna. Mama Jnana-Timiranda-Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Hare Krishna. So here the next instruction that is given by Narada Muni is about the relation of Guru and disciple. Our disciple should be very much dedicated to the mission of spiritual master, and that is actually what makes him advance in his spiritual life. There is no other way other than serving the spiritual master. So here we see that Vaidharthi, when her husband left, she is completely uh, affected by it, and then that is given to like he is compared to a devotee, and it is compared to association of a great Vaishnava. Husband happened to be a great Vaishnava, and then she is able to give up. She left him. When the spiritual master leaves, how the disciple should react. That is what is explained. How that automatically comes. It's not artificial because the attachment is very strong. And then we have the next section is where Paramatma is guiding. And spiritual master is no more on the planet, and Paramatma guides the living entity. So here Paramatma is speaking. So we can properly analyze what all various stages that happens at the time of death, and what are different things that happen when we meet the spiritual master. So that is how this analogy Narada Muni is very systematically explaining. So what are the different stages we undergo when the death comes, how our body is becoming weaker and weaker because the Yavana Raja is coming and all his associates are destroying the body. Kalakanya is coming and all. So now here, and then based on the state of our mind, we are getting the next body. Unfortunately, we got association of devotee, and then we are dedicating our life to the spiritual master. And then when we dedicate our life to spiritual master, Paramatma is guiding. Now, if somebody's mind is very clean, he can hear Paramatma now also. So this is the criteria. How can we hear the voice of Paramatma? So how can I hear voice of Paramatma? So this is possible when the mind is clean. So that's what Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. He says, when you are able to control your mind, you already reach Paramatma. But reaching Paramatma means basically we are able to hear the voice. Now, so many voices are there that are coming from our from inside. So the voices of our desires and anarthas and anarthas. So this is actually what we are hearing. But people get intuitions. So intuition is from where? Intuition is for Paramatma. So based on the purity, they get intuition. That means they are able to connect to Paramatma. So Paramatma tells certain things. So they maintain that purity. Even the astrologers, Ayurvedic doctors, and any other Vedic fields, if we take, they all were maintaining this purity because they need the connection with Paramatma. If they want to tell even the Brahmanas and all, they used to maintain that purity so that they can hear the voice of Paramatma. Even now also for now it is possible for others. And then if you remember in the second canto, Brahma is praying. Brahma is telling to Narada. What he says is that Narada, whatever I speak, that is always, that will never go wrong. Because, and I never fall down in my mind and in my in my, what do you say, in the senses. So that is what he explains. So that is the most important thing. So we'll just where he says that because I am so properly connected. So for us also it works. Not only for Brahma, anybody it works. That whoever is properly connected to the Lord, he will never fall down. Fall down in the sense that whatever he speaks will be right only. So this is the famous shloka from the second canto. This is sixth chapter. Uh, Here he says that uh, I will just tell the shloka for you. Very uh, न भारती में नंग अंग मृषोपलक्ष्यते न वै क्वचिन में मनसो मृषा गतिः न मे ऋषिकानि पतन्ति असत्पते यन्मे हृदयत्कण्ठतया धृतो हरिः. So he says that Narada, my words are never false. How Brahma's words are never false? He's saying the working of my mind is never false. My senses do not fall onto the wrong path. This is because I hold the Lord in my heart, filled great zeal. So filled with great zeal. So this is actually the criteria. So if I maintain that purity, then whatever I am speaking, it will be directly from Paramatma. So that's why a preacher should be very pure in the sense that they have to be always connected to, they should be speaking truth all the time. How it is possible? When we are maintaining purity, then the Lord will reveal the truth in the heart, and then whatever they are speaking becomes the truth, like that. So here also, for us, maintaining purity will help us to understand Paramatma, and then we know what our Guru want us to do also. Like every day we have to make some decision. What should I do in this direction? And if somebody is very sincere, even praying it every moment, even Matajis, they are cooking in the kitchen, they can take shelter of Paramatma every time. They say, what should I do now? Should I put more salt or less salt? Paramatma will guide. So, so based on the purity, I'm just giving. So, but it is possible. Like everything is Paramatma's guidance. That's how the pure devotees are. And Paramatma is ready to guide us now also. Only thing is we have to connect to him. That's all. That means every day we have to pray. Every time we have to pray. The Brahmana continued. My dear friend, actually, the boy who stays with me, he went to Jagannath Puri, and he could not get darshan. There was so much rush, and he has a bus to board. He just went for few hours. He thought I'll somehow make darshan, and then he understood he cannot get darshan. Immediately he started praying. Rather Govind, I cannot take darshan. I am going back. And one panda comes and says, "You want to take darshan? Okay, jump from this line, and then you enter. You go it." And he got. And then he didn't had money because you have to deposit everything there in the locker. He wanted to purchase prasadam. And then he said, "Oh, I dear Lord, I don't have any money. How prasad?" Another panda comes and says, "You want prasadam?" He said, "I don't have money. No problem." And he filled his hand with prasad. That means even for any young devotee also, Lord is ready to take care and guide. Only thing is we should ask for it. We should take help for it. Then Lord is ready to help. We are not ready to ask. We are not ready to take what Lord can do. So somebody who's praying all the time, Lord is ready to help all the time. So here, Lord is Paramatma is telling. You see what Paramatma is telling for all of us. My dear friend, even though you cannot immediately recognize me, can't you remember that in the past you had an very intimate friend? Unfortunately, you gave up my company and accepted a position as enjoyer of this world. So, Ichhadvesha samuttena dvanda mohena bharata
Sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. So this is actually what happened to all of us. All living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. This is an explanation of how the living entity falls down into this material world. In the spiritual world, there is no duality, nor there is hate. Supreme Personality of God expands himself in many into many in order to enjoy bliss and more. So this is another very important thing. How much hate and anger people has. So this is a very nice point. You try to understand. Say if a person has empty stomach. So empty stomach person becomes angry. If you have experienced, stomach is empty, there is anger. If heart is empty, then also there is anger. This is limited, but this anger, because heart is empty, is unlimited. So we become irritated and angry when the stomach is array. If somebody tries to tell something, we say no, first feed me. But here, heart is empty is unlimited. Why? Because here it is Krishna who is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited. So now he is removed. That means Krishna is no more there. That means unlimited vacancy, emptiness is there in the heart. That's why this anger is unlimited. That's why we see here in the material world how much people are fighting and killing and all this violence and all terror. In the name of Lord, they are doing terror. See, this is a tragedy. They think they have love for their Lord. That's why they want to kill others. In the name of religion, they are doing violence. That means they never had love for Lord only. If you have love for the Lord, then violence won't exist only because anger don't exist. Anger exists because heart is empty. Any empty stomach creates anger, empty hearts creates anger. So this is a simple understanding. And of course, this is can be elaborated more because here Prabhupada is talking about duality. That's why no duality. So that's why there is hate. So of course, this is a different point, but I I will sometime I will elaborate on this when some topic comes related to it. But this is a very important thing to understand how emptiness creates anger. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many. In order to enjoy bliss more and more, the Supreme Lord expands himself into different categories, as mentioned in Varaha Purana. He expanded himself in Vishnu Tattva, so he is also expanding as Paramatma. Now, Paramatma is there in the heart, but we want Krishna in the heart. So this is where the emptiness is coming. Because Paramatma don't fill that gap. Paramatma is just Upadrishta Anumanta. There is no relation there. If you have relation, then there is heart is filled. No relation, it is empty. So this is the in the Prema Virta it is said, Krishna Bahirmukha Haya Bhogavancha Kare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japatiya Dhare. The natural position of living entity is to serve the Lord in transcendental loving attitude. When the living entity wants to become Krishna himself or imitate Krishna, he falls down into material world. And then when the living entity falls down, the Lord expands and through his Swamsha expansion, Paramatma keeps the company of living entity. Because why Lord has to come to keep a company with us? That should be the question. So why Lord has to come as Paramatma? He can be in a spiritual world, na? Very important to understand. Why Lord has to be with living entity as Paramatma. So the main reason is we cannot enjoy without Paramatma. That is the reason. Because there are 5 factors of any action. And the most important is Paramatma. Why? He is the Upadrishta Anumanta. Upadrishta Anumanta means he is the overseer and sanctioner. So Lord oversees whatever is there and he sanctions. Oversees and sanctions. So this is what the main thing is. That means material nature don't run without the Lord. He should be present to make it run. He should be there to see our desires and fulfill it. That means material nature works under the direction of Lord. Material nature works under direction of Lord. It is not under our direction. This is very important to know. That is why Lord is coming and helping it to act accordingly. That's why Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karamani Sarvasha Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartahamitmani. The living entity is thinking I am the doer. But it is all Prakriti. Prakriti is doing. And who is controlling Prakriti? Paramatma is controlling Prakriti. We are not controlling Prakriti. Now I want to speak. This is an endeavor I am making to speak. But ultimately, Paramatma should sanction the vocal cord, Paramatma should sanction the ether, Paramatma should sanction the vibrations, Paramatma should give the intelligence. All the things are done by him only. I only can what I do, living entity only desires. You are understanding? So this much only we can do, but remaining all the things are done by Paramatma. So Lord accompanying us is compulsory. And interestingly, it is not that Lord is expanding as Paramatma in all the living entities. There is only one Paramatma. Only one Paramatma. So this is very important to know. It's not that many Paramatmas are there. No, one. We give the example like sun is there and you keep 100 pots filled with water. You will see the reflection of sun in 100 pots. It is not 100 suns, it's only one sun. Similarly, Paramatma is one, but he is seen in everybody's heart. And he directs the living entity, he directs the material nature, and accordingly things will work here. So everything is done by the Supreme Lord. So by misusing his independence, the living entity falls down from the service of Lord, takes the position of in this material world as enjoyer. That is to say, the living entity takes this position within a material body. Wanting to take a very exalted position, living entity instead becomes entangled in a repetition of birth and death. He selects his position as a human being, a demigod category. In this way, living entities select a body out of 84 lakh species. Now, super soul does not like him to do this. Consequently, the super soul instruct him to surrender to the Supreme Lord. The Lord then takes charge of the living entity, but unless the living entity is uncontaminated by material disease, he cannot surrender to Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada is giving one reason for why Paramatma is there, to guide a living entity. So the super soul instructs us to surrender to Supreme Lord. So this is one of the reason Prabhupada is giving, what he does. Supreme Lord is the supreme friend of everyone. However, no one can take advantage of Supreme Friend's instructions while making his own plan to become happy and entangling himself in the material modes. When there is creation, the living entity takes on a different forms according to its past desires. This means that all the species of life are simultaneously created. So again, Prabhupada um, uh, is chastising Darwin. Darwin's theory stating that no human being exists from the beginning, but that humans evolve after many, many years is simply nonsensical theory. So from the Vedic literature, so Prabhupada is telling this part. So we should know why Paramatma is there in this world. We cannot act without Paramatma. We all, if you remember the second canto, Udatishtati Tat Virat. If you know that all the elements, the demigods, they are praying Virat to wake up. Udatishtati, wake up, wake up. Wake up means what? Virat is there, but the consciousness is not entered there. Similarly, the living entity is there in the body, but for the the energy to work, the Paramatma should be there. Then only the body is able to move and do everything. Otherwise, not possible. My dear gentle friend, both you and I are exactly like two swans. We live together in the same heart, which is just like the Manasa lake. Although Although we have been living together for many thousands of years, we are still far away from our original home. So, this is what Paramatma is doing, instructing the living entity. The original home of living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead uh, is the spiritual world. So, we are all from. However, when the living entity wants to enjoy himself, he falls down. So, because of his forgetfulness. And then further, Narada Muni is telling what Paramatma is telling to the living entity. My dear friend, you are now my very same friend since you left me. You have become more and more materialistic, and not seeing me, you have been traveling in different forms throughout this material world, which was created by some woman who created Maya Devi. So, but when living entity falls down, he goes into the material world, which was created by external energy of Lord, some woman or Prakriti. This material world is composed of material elements, ingredients supplied by Mahat Tattva. So, the material world created by this external energy becomes the so-called home of conditioned souls. So, ब्रह्मांड भगमिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्ति लता बीज is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. The living entity wanders into many species of life, but he is fortunate when he once again meets his friend either in person or through his representative. So this is the uh, reason what Paramatma is guiding and what Paramatma is telling in that city which is made of some woman Maya Devi, the material body. There are 5 gardens, 9 gates, one protector, 3 apartments, 6 families, 5 stories, 5 stores, 5 material elements, and one woman who is the lord of the house. Now, further, Paramatma is telling to the living entity, he is telling to, my dear friend, the 5 gardens are the 5 objects of sense enjoyment. The protector is the life air, which passes through 9 gates. The 3 apartments are 3 chief ingredients fire, water, air. The 6 families are the aggregate total of mind and 5 senses. So that's how it is analyzed. And further, it is said that the 5 stores are the 5 working sensory organs. The their they transact their business through the combined forces of 5 elements which are eternal. Behind all this activity is the soul. The soul is a person and an enjoyer in reality. However, because he is now hidden within the city of the body, is devoid of this knowledge. So this is all our position. The living entity in the material creation with the aid of 5 elements and that is forming the body. And although the living entity is working from within, he is nonetheless unknown. That means we don't know ourselves. We are working with our body, but we don't know ourselves. And intelligence is described in the feminine gender. So we also discussed this previously. King Puranjana married Vaidharbi. Sorry, King Puranjana married the woman. She is considered intelligent. Wife is intelligence. And so all these things are. mm, all these appears various apartments. It is said in Vedas that the food. Okay, the nice point Prabhupada is telling. The living entity lives by means of fire, water, and food grains. Nice point. This is try to understand. Prabhupada made some interesting analysis. It is through a combination of these three that the body is maintained. Consequently, the body is called Prakriti, material creation. All the elements gradually combine to form flesh, bone, blood, and so on. All these appear in various apartments. It is said in the Vedas that the digested food are ultimately divided into three. The solid portion becomes stool, the semi-solid, semi-liquid portion turns into flesh, and the liquid portion turns yellow and is again divided into three. One of these liquid portion is called urine. Similarly, the fiery portion is divided into three, and one is called bone. Out of five elements, fire, water, food grains are very important. These three are mentioned in the previous verse, whereas sky, ether, and air are not mentioned. This is all explained in Bhagavad Gita. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidhi anadi ubhau api vikarams gunams chaiva vidhi prakriti sambhava. Very nicely these things are explained. So what is the three portions? Why these three elements are very important? Fire, water, and food grains. So flesh, bones, these are converted into it, and then the solid portion becomes stool, semi-solid is flesh, and liquid portion also is divided into three. So and then there is bone and everything. So the next point Paramatma is telling about is, my dear friend, when you enter such a body along with the woman of material desires, that means along with the intelligence also, you become overly absorbed in sense enjoyment. Because of this, you have forgotten your spiritual life. Due to your material conception, you are placed in various miserable conditions. So, two things Paramatma is doing. He is making us do things in this world also, and he is guiding also how to do, what not to do. When a person becomes materially engrossed, he has no capacity to hear about spiritual existence. Fearfulness of spiritual existence entangles a man more and more in material existence. Such is the result of sinful life. Various bodies are developed from the material ingredients because of different types of sinful activities. So here this King Puranjana assumed the body of woman Vaidharbi as a result of his sinful activities. He was too much attached, that's why he got. Actually, you are not daughter of Vidarbha, nor is this man Maledwaja your well-wishing husband, nor were you the actually husband of Puranjana. You are simply captivated in this body of nine gates. So this is how the Paramatma. So here we have false identification. Now Prabhupada is going to cut our attachments. He says, in the material world, many living entities come in contact with one another, increase their attachment to a particular type of body, becomes related to father, husband, mother, wife, etc. Actually, every living entity is a separate individual. False body creates various association in name of family, community, society, nationality. So this is all bogus. False body creates. So we have all these identities now, unfortunately. His instructions are important because by them the living entity can obtain liberation. As water passes down a river, many straws and grass are carried away from the shore. These straws and grass come together in the river's current, but when the waves toss in this way, they are separated. So we also come together in this life and go away. Miche mayara veshe yache veshe kachu habudu bubai. जीव कृष्णदास ये विश्वास कर ले तो और दुख नाई. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, my dear living entity, you are being carried away by the waves of material nature. Sometimes you are on a surface, sometimes you are being drowned. In this way, your eternal life is being spoiled. If you simply catch hold of Krishna and take shelter of his lotus feet, you will once again get free from the miserable material condition. So this is how Paramatma is guiding, and Acharyas are also trying to help us understand the same point. And next is sometimes you think yourself a man, sometimes a chaste woman, and sometimes a neutral eunuch. This is all because of the body, which is created by illusory energy. This illusory energy is my potency, and actually, both of us, you and I, are pure spiritual identities. Now, just try to understand this. I am trying to explain our factual position. So, Paramatma is giving this instruction to all of us. We should not uh, take these connections very seriously, but the connection with Paramatma is the most serious thing. And aham bhavanna chayastvam tvam yevaham vichakshvabhau nanau pashyanti kavayas chidram jatu managapi. My dear friend, I, the super soul, and you, the individual soul, are not different in quality. We are both spiritual, in fact. My dear friend, you are qualitatively not different from me in your constitutional position. Just try to consider this subject. Those who are actually advanced scholars who are in knowledge do not find any qualitative difference between you and me. So there is no qualitative difference between Paramatma and Jivatma in terms of quality. They are also both are Satchidananda only. Only thing is quantity wise, we are very, very minute. As a person sees the reflection of his body in a mirror to be one with himself and not different, whereas others actually see two bodies. So, in our material condition, in which the living being is affected and not affected, there is a difference between God and the living entity. It is we are not equal, but we are separate only. Equal is uh, equal in terms of quality only. So Prabhupada is trying to prove this point with various nice analysis. We'll not take that topic now. We'll just go to the next shloka where Paramatma is in both ways. Swan lives together in the heart. When the one swan is instructed by other, he is situated in his constitutional position. This means he regains his original Krishna consciousness, which was lost because of his material attraction. Here it is clearly stated, Hamso Hamsena Pratibhoditaha. The individual soul and super soul are both compared to swans because of they are white or uncontaminated. But one is instructing, one is hearing. That is important. So we need to go to Guru who will instruct us and deliver us. And then the last instruction of Paramatma is, my dear, oh, this is Narada Muni telling, my dear King Prachini versus Supreme Personality of God, the cause of all causes, is celebrated to be known indirectly. Thus, I have described the story of Puranjana to you. Actually, it is an instruction for self realization. So, there are many similar stories in Puranas for self realization. As stated in the Vedas, Paroksha Priya Hi, Paroksha Priya Iva Hi Deva. There are many stories in Puranas. They are intended to interest ordinary men in transcendental subject, but actually these refers to real facts. They are not to be considered stories without a transcendental purpose. Some of the some of them refers to real historical facts, but should be interested, however. in the real purport of the story. Indirect instruction is quickly understandable for common man. So that's why paroksha jnana. So this is the indirect way of preaching is helpful. Actually, it is our story only, but we are hearing it is happening to Prachini, Barshit, Puranjana. So we are also interested to hear, but ultimately it is for us only, right? Actually, the path of Bhakti Yoga is path of hearing directly about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But those who are not interested in hearing directly about activities of Lord, who cannot understand them, can very effectively hear such stories and fables as this one narrated by Narada Muni. Therefore, the following are some of the allegories used in this chapter. Adesha Kara, the actions resulting from sinful activities. Agasya, the mind. Amatya, the governor of the senses, the mind. Arbhuda, various types of Shravanam and Kirtanam. Hara, so these are all the analogies, the words that are using, making a different meaning. In the impediments like diseases, bhoga, enjoyment, bhritya, the servants of the body, namely the senses, dvara, the doors of the body such as eyes and ears, graha, home. For spiritual cultivation, one requires to an undisturbed place or the good association of devotees. Idmavaha, the devotee who approach the spiritual master. Idma refers to wood that is taken to burn as fuel for the fire. A brahmachari is supposed to take idma to ignite the fire used in performing sacrifice. By spiritual instructions, a brahmachari is trained to ignite a fire and offer oblations in the morning. So, fire is compared to knowledge. So, when we lit the fire and put all the grains in it, we are destroying our ignorance. That's why we do everyday havan and this ahutis. He's supposed to go to the spiritual master to take lessons on the transcendental subject matter, the Vedic injunctions. In that way, approaching the spiritual master, one must carry with him fuel to perform yajnas or sacrifices. That's why it is tad vijnanartham sagurum eva vigachet. Like that, we have to approach a guru for performing this sacrifice. So all these words and their meanings are given. Only so whole, yeah. So this is the successfully we completed 28th chapter. Hare Krishna. So we'll take any questions, comment. Yes, Srinivas Prasad.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Pranam, Pranam.
Question is related to the example which you gave regarding the empty stomach and empty heart. So can you just throw some light that how do we understand when the realized souls also get angry sometimes? So they are having Krishna in their heart. So how do we understand that?
Oh, they are not controlled by anger, bro. They are using the anger in the service of Lord, like that.
Mm.
So there is a quite a difference. Like Arjuna or Hanuman becoming angry. Anger is not controlling them. They are just utilizing it for the Lord's service.
And the realized soul, when they get angry on their juniors or their disciples, so it is basically for their benefit.
Yeah, their benefit. So it is not going to affect them. If we, for us, anger is because of unfulfilled desires. But for them, it is not like that. It is because they are they want to help, basically.
Very, very
Yeah.
perfect. And probably one more question, which I think was related to Balaram Shakti Prabhu's class also, and you were also there. So, in today also we discussed like how do we understand that Prabhuji was mentioning that Maya is not bad. So, like, and then how do we understand that when Krishna is saying that Mama Maya Durattaya? So, Durattaya word why Krishna is saying Duratya, and while we are discussing that Maya is not that bad. So can you just explain how do we understand that Maya is not that bad?
No, we have to we have to see that for us now it is dangerous only. We have to look it as danger, and
Hmm.
we should be very cautious when we are dealing.
Hmm.
So bad in the sense it is dangerous. Now uh, electricity power station is there and all wires are there.
Hmm.
Now it is dangerous because if you go near, we may
Get
get
catched.
some shock or something.
Hmm.
So it is not, we need electricity, but it is dangerous also.
Correct. So,
So like that, it is dangerous, but it has some purpose. So Lord does not create anything without having purpose. There is a purpose. The
hmm.
purpose is actually we are trying to enjoy. That is the wrong thing we are doing. So
Hmm.
if you handle
When we
Maya
go
for our
when
enjoyment, then it is dangerous.
we go closer to Maya, and then Maya catch hold of us. So as long as
We want to enjoy Maya,
hmm.
then Maya is very dangerous.
Hmm.
But if we are utilizing all the energies of Maya in Krishna service, then it is okay.
Correct. Then that verse which Krishna says that Devi Shugunamai Mam Maya Durate Mam Ekam Prapadam.
Yeah.
You take shelter of me, then Maya will not touch you.
Yeah.
So we have to just be afraid of Maya and just keep a distance from Maya.
We are in Maya actually. We are in Maya only. We should only try to come out of Maya. That is
Very nice. Very nice. We are in Maya. But as long as we are in association of devotees hearing about the glories of Krishna,
we will
our-
understand that we are in Maya. That's all. But we have to come out of it. So that's a conscious endeavor we have to do. So
Hmm.
every moment, whole day we will be in Maya. Sometimes we come out of Maya
Very true.
like that.
Very true. Very true. Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Great.
Any other question, comments? Um, yes, Proji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, you said no, Prabhuji. It's like Maya is like is like fire, and then we are walking uh, on a fine piece of land. Be cautious. So you said that whatever we do, we should be conscious of what we're doing. Otherwise, if you're not conscious while we're doing what we're doing, then Maya will then we will fall into Maya's prey. So, like that, right, Prabhuji? Like, unless
No, no.
you're
We are
always
always
conscious
in
of what
Maya.
you're doing.
No, it's not like that. We are always in Maya. When we are conscious, we come out of Maya. Otherwise, we remain in Maya like that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So, in order not to be in Maya, you should always be conscious of our actions or whatever we do
Ah,
on a day-to-day
yes, yes.
basis. Yeah.
Mm.
Otherwise, if you're not conscious and do it on a knee-jerk basis, then we will be in Maya like that.
Yeah, we continue to remain in Maya.
Yes.
Yes. Any other question, comments? Okay, thank you all very much.